It is the start of the day of the 17th of January 2002, the day the inhabitants of Goma in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo will never be able to forget. Earthquakes and smoke which became more and more dense. From 3,000 metres above them, the volcano Nyiragongo erupted, the most violent eruption in years. The slow-flowing lava left most people time to flee before it reached the city. Nevertheless, several dozen people killed and hundreds of thousands of people made homeless, most of them fleeing towards neighbouring Rwanda. A constant stream of men, women and children carrying little but the odd mattress or piece of furniture, rescued at the last minute.
There are ships, there are trucks too, which can help people flee and move the population if possible. But we still need help.
With the damage left behind, incredible to see. A wall of lava covering a part of the city, cutting it in two before it poured into Lake Kivu, with the fear of toxic gas being given off. Whole neighbourhoods, including the city centre, wiped off the map, buried under tons of rubble, ash and rocks. One of the ironies of fate that the huge villas of the rich quarters of the city spared. Yet 15 years later, in the heart of the devastation, caused as well by ethnic conflicts and political tension, where is the reconstruction? Well, our reporters Meddeb and Maxime Souville have been back to Goma, the capital of North Kivu, which still lives with the menace of the volcano.
It's a region like no other. Lake Kivu, the Masisi Mountains, it's been dubbed the Congolese Switzerland. Seen from a helicopter, the landscapes are even more stunning. Goma could be a dream destination, but its population of 1.5 million lives under constant threat. Two giants, Mounts Nyiragongo and Nyamulagira, are looming. Africa's most active volcanoes. Today, this Congolese volcanologist is ecstatic. The weather is clear, which is rare for this season. It's almost a lunar landscape. Any trace of life seems long gone. There was once a forest here. Breathtaking landscapes that leave you literally gasping for air. We're 3,000 meters above sea level here, and the atmosphere is saturated with sulfur. Because they lack the appropriate gear, yet continue to come up here regularly, Celestin and his team of researchers believe they've lost 2 years of life expectancy.
So we're looking for a place to set up. We have to be very quick because the atmosphere changes very quickly here.
They work in extreme conditions, not only because of the altitude, but because the security situation is tense.
We used to come here by foot, but because of the insecurity, we have to wait for UN helicopters. When there aren't any, we can't come.
Are there armed groups here?
There are armed groups all around.
Celestin and his colleagues have just over 2 hours to complete all of their checks. Carbon dioxide, radioactivity, sulfur, gaps in the cracks. They're trying to predict when the next eruption might be.
We need to continue our observations to avoid a repeat of a situation like 2002, where the population wasn't warned.
15 years ago, a volcanic eruption came by surprise. Lava flows killed 80 people in Goma. Today, there's still concern, with volcanic activity starting up again. Celestin remembers the previous eruption well. It was on January the 17th, 2002, at 8:45 a.m. He was the only person to warn of deadly lava flows, and at the time, no one believed him. He was even thrown in prison. Authorities feared he would cause panic.
I remember these foreign experts saying, "Who are these Congolese people thinking that they're able to predict such an eruption?" The eruption occurred while our dismissal letters were actually on the desk of the head of the department. He apologized afterwards. I'm proud that I work for the population. I'm respected in society even though I don't earn anything. If I go on the radio and say there's been an eruption, everyone will flee.
His desire now is to warn people in time and avoid another tragedy.
Goma is seriously threatened, and if you look at the city now, you have beautiful roads, houses. But it's all in danger. It's in danger because Nyiragongo's activity is very important. It's become more active than it was before.
The volcano may be more active, but down below, daily life in Goma carries on as usual. Its residents have learned to live with the threat of an eruption, a risk that over time has weathered and become part of the scenery. A contingency plan does exist and should come into effect if there's another eruption. But there's never been a drill. Celestin and his team are the only ones to continue to warn of a threat.
This crack runs all the way from the volcano. The lava trickled through and came about 500 meters away from here. Those buildings over there are on what was a patch of vegetation, so it's dangerous for the people who live there now. If there was another eruption, they'd be the first victims.
The volcano experts believe they could foresee a disaster 2 weeks ahead. But that's not much of a relief. In the space of 15 years, the population of Goma has tripled. Managing another eruption would be nothing like directing this hectic evening traffic. There'd be panic, mass movements, chaos across the city. Back in 2002, the lava trails forced 300,000 people to flee. Among those left homeless in 2002 was this woman, Maman Sheka. She survived 15 years ago while her friend and her neighbour perished. Lava burned their houses down. At the time, Maman Sheka fled along with her children to neighbouring Rwanda.
We were absolutely surprised. We didn't think we'd ever see an eruption. We doubted it a lot because we didn't know the effects of a volcano. We'd never seen an eruption. There were a lot of rumors, so I didn't believe any of them. Actually, we really weren't prepared for a situation like this. When the lava came, we just ran and took nothing with us.
After spending 3 months in a refugee camp, the family returned to Goma. But Maman Sheka's life had been turned upside down. Her house was destroyed, her husband had died, and she had to go back to work. Along with other women in her neighbourhood, she started working on the slopes of the mountain, which had caused such destruction.
We have to break the stones with this crowbar to make piles so it's easier to load onto the trucks.
They earn 300 francs for every bag of stones they sell. That's less than 30 euro centimes. But they carry on the back-breaking, punishing work every day, often in a sweltering heat.
My back hurts and my chest does too. When I work here, I'm exhausted. We had the idea to break the stones and sell them because we were hungry and suffering. The volcano took it all. We had nothing left. So we had no choice when we returned. We had to do something. So I had this idea to do this in order to feed my 8 children.
There are women like Maman Sheka everywhere in this city. That's the paradox of Goma. It's at once very dynamic and very poor. It's bustling with construction work, and never more so than ahead of an electoral deadline. There are building sites everywhere, new structures being erected. And yet, on every street there are also aid organisations, dozens and dozens of development agencies. The thousands of employees and peacekeepers of the United Nations inject millions of dollars into Goma's economy. This is the other face of Goma. Because as well as living under a volcano that threatens to wipe it off the map, the city's traumatised by war and violence. It's been at the heart of most of the country's conflicts over the past 3 decades. Ruhara knows this only too well. He's one of thousands of demobilised rebels. He used to be part of a group called the M23, which attacked Goma in 2012 and held the city for a month.
Well, I left with them to fight. We fought the battles of Bunagana, Goma, and then we retracted to Kibumba. We were forcibly recruited in Munigi. They took us into the forest where we started work. I'm ashamed of my past because people speak of it badly. I don't speak of it often, and I don't want people to know I was a member of the M23.
The former fighter now depends on his chakudu to survive. This wooden scooter was invented here in Goma. Each day, Ruhara and his friend use it to transport hundreds of kilos of goods, several kilometres across the city, for just $3 a day.
I was a porter for the rebels. When they went to fight, we had to carry weapons and material. At least now I can earn a living. But before, with the rebellion, I wasn't even earning 10 francs. This work driving a chukudu is difficult, but it's better than being with the rebellion.
It could be that the next eruption in Goma will have nothing to do with volcanoes. It may instead involve a civil society group called Lucha, which means struggle for change. They've been organising protests for several years, demanding better governance, but also timely elections. Serge and his friends are trying to convince young people to sign up to vote. They say they're aiming to promote better citizenship. But the Congolese authorities don't see it that way. Their movement has been heavily repressed. Serge has spent months in prison, and many of his fellow activists have been arrested.
The Electoral Commission says it doesn't have the means to organise an election within the constitutional deadlines. But that is a lie. Yes, it's a real lie.
Their calls for timely elections has had no impact on Congo's authorities. The vote has been pushed back to 2018. Now, as the president's second mandate is about to expire, Lucha members continue to sing and mobilise, hoping they'll be heard. Lucha and others have repeatedly warned that Goma is not only built on instability, but also on inequality. The shores of Lake Kivu are home to luxury villas and extreme poverty, just a few metres apart. Every day, hundreds of people walk for several kilometres to fill their water cans. These chlorine tablets are a reminder that cholera could strike again. Years after the volcanic eruption, 5 years after the M23 rebellion, Goma is still a traumatized city. Could its violent history resurface? In the meantime, like these children, Goma is full of life and intent on surviving.
Mehdi, Meddeb and Maxime Souville revisiting Goma for us. Well, that's it from this week's edition. You can catch it again and all the previous editions as well on our website. That's at france24.com. Thanks for watching. More news coming up in a few minutes' time.